So today's the case study is all about red dots, the invisible red dots which they are in the business, which most stakeholders overlook. So if I give you a story way back in the World War times, so there were aligned who mapped these planes who came back after it got hit by the bullets, and these red dots obviously were shown that these are the places which are the weak area which bullet could go through, which means the first instinct was very simple, like reinforce those places, make it stronger, right? And it was the mathematician Abraham who first saw which other did, which means he said that these are the planes which actually survived, which means the real danger is in the places without dots. So because of the planes which were hit, they never came back home, which means more of a survival bias. So this is where everybody go and do these mistakes. So we look at the most successful companies and we try to copy their habits. We try to copy their strategy. We don't look at leaders who made it, and we also don't follow their path, right? So shortcuts, obviously all business try to do that, or many stakeholders tend to do this. I will not say all, but majority I have seen over the last 9 years of my management consulting over more than 120 categories. So this is what we saw. Another thing we saw is that these truths are often very, in very silent. These are missing dots. Like these are the stories which generally don't reach us or reach the management or the stakeholder. And because of that, you need management or third party who can come and oversee and identify these missing dots. So in terms of crisis, if I tell you, if I remind you, it's like you just don't look at what is visible. You actually look at what is missing, which is a missing part, right? And looking at a missing part being in the system is a very complex task, which I saw around so many companies we have consulted. It's a very difficult thing. And that's the reason when a CXO look at these deep, trenches, the natural is to focus on what is visible, which is the data, sales data, operations data, marketing data, funds, budget optimization, so on and so forth, but customer complaint, so on and so forth. But what happens is the root cause, most of the consulting case studies which we realized after understanding and solving them, is that most invisible part are the skills are not measured, people skill, will skill gap is not measured, hardly measured, and most companies think these are a HR job, which is not, which it impacts the company in a very deeper level, and it is invisible, you will not be able to figure out, right? And the next is the customer behavior is not decoded, a customer is not understood, customer is not asked, feedbacks are ignored, and so on and so forth. Majorly I've seen. Next is a cultural shift. There's a cultural shift, younger people working with the older people. So there's a cultural misfit, or the culture is not drilled down to the last mile, is the major invisible things which is very difficult to figure out by someone who is in the system. Next is the process leaks. Everybody is happy with whatever is happening for so many years, so no one wants to actually go and audit, research, cultural shift, consumer behavior, customer study, people will skill gap, and so on and so forth. Next is consultant, or it's not that consultant or management consultant or little much more intelligent, it's not like that, but as it's or smarter than the stakeholder, not saying that, but the beauty is that management consultant are always outsider. So when you are not attached with the system, when you are not attached with a protocol, when you are not attached with the ecosystem, it is easily to figure out and point out mistakes someone else is doing, right? That's the only part why you need a management consultant to do this job in a much more smoother way, which difficult for anyone to do it, within staying in the system. Next is we see system when we see this, or when management consulting, while we saw that, it's not, we don't see anything on silos. We try to map, we try to articulate, we try to understand, is there any relationship between these dots, between these issues, or between this data? Does it impact anyone or the other dot? That's the beauty of you need a consulting way of solving it. Next is spot the missing dot, which is the most important dot missed, and analytics and interpretation of data are not same. So one is insight, one is data, one is understanding data, understanding insights, understanding, and then advising clients to do in terms of the best options. Next is why company need, and you'll ask me that why do everybody need a management consultant? Sometimes yes, because the MSME part what we saw is that most MSME cannot afford very highly qualified, or maybe you have hired a resource. This resource is not staying in the system for a long time. This attrition rate is high. So what happens? It sometimes in a difficult time, there's no one to guide you or help you in terms of coming up with the right decision. So management consultant always helps you to survey, audit, understand, identify these missing dots, right? Next is freedom. I mean, most of the people who are outside management consultant are outsider, so they don't have to defend a legacy. They're outsiders. So I know outsiders, as an outsider management consultant, are sometimes challenged, because we challenge everything. We challenge sometimes the stakeholders' views, right questions. So we don't see, or most management consultant don't see the way other people will look at, right? Connecting dots is another function. We just don't look at marketing, sales, HR separately. We try to map everything and try to figure out, is it impacting any other domino effect within the ecosystem or the business. Next is pattern recognition. So exposure to the dozen of sharpened data what you see around, and then try to figure out what is a pattern, what is a trend. This patterns means what? Does it impact any other thing other than what that only the data or the pattern is it recognized from an individual department. Next, we look for gap identification. What is the most important gap in terms of the hierarchy? The important thing to do, immediate thing to do, and good to do. Good to have something like that. Next is a neutral diagnosis. Since consultants are like, we don't provide a single truth. It's a fragmented reports. It comes from different department, different ecosystem, and we compile everything and try to give a very neutral and diagnosis way of, so that CXO take a decision, business decision, much more clear manner. So when do you need a consultant? If you ask me that, when do I need or when do I need it? What is the right time? So if there's a recurring problem happening and you can't fix it, and it is happening quite frequently, you need third party to look at. Or so in cricket also you need the third umpire, right? So that's the reason you need a third point view. Second is when the leadership is stuck and you're always into firefighting, you need that. So instead of strategy, you're doing more of firefighting. These are second symptom. Third symptom is whenever there's a plateau in terms of the spend, or plateau in terms of the revenue, plateau in terms of the growth. So these are important. Or maybe the growth is not happening in spite of spending, right? I mean to say that. So these are the reasons. Fourth is highly employee churn, which is the churn rate. The attrition rate is very high. You're not able to keep good people for a long time. So these are reasons these are symptoms or signals when you need a third party or a consultant to manage and see and understand what are the missing dot. Next is customers leaving you. You are not sure why they're leaving you, or the lifetime value of customers is going higher, and they are not staying in the system for a long time. So these are something what a consultant, I believe, helps any business to grow. Most problems what you are looking at is not there, right? They're much more in a deeper level. So that understanding or vision or that insights only come from someone who is outside. Easy to see from an objective, right? Objective way of looking at problem. Second is a past. Sometimes past success creates doesn't helps you, which means the yesterday's habits which has put you here will not make you survive, or it may sabotage tomorrow's way of working, right? So that's important. But in a common word I can say, it's like basking in the past glory. It doesn't help you. Next is data interpretation. So a data without interpretation is a noise, so it doesn't help you. Most people I've seen are good with data, but are not good with in terms of analyzing the pattern or insights on the data. So data is an information. What you come out of it, how you look at it, how you interpret it, and that's the core competence. And sometimes MSMEs or large companies, they have an analyst, but most analysts are sometimes not very able to clear enough to identify the core missing dot. And the last one is wasting time. How much are you wasting your valuable time on this and trying to do this puzzle, I think you should not waste much more time. What we have seen, which takes generally 8 or 9 years of problems which is happening for a long time, we are able to identify it within 2 months or 3 months of time, and we solve it. So I hope if you do this, if you hire senior people who are experts, who understand, who have a deeper insights are very important. Not much people will able to give you insights. If you get some consultant, definitely going to help you. Thank you.